An ass, having heard some grasshoppers chirping, was highly enchanted, and, desiring to possess the same charms of melody, demanded what sort of food they lived on to give them such beautiful voices. They replied, "The dew." The ass resolved that he would live only upon dew, and in a short time died of hunger. This is one of Aesop's tales entitled The Ass and the Grasshopper. This is folk tales for grown folks. And the purpose of the show is to talk about the wisdom that comes from Aesop's fables and how we can use them or use the wisdom that is given to us in these tales in our modern life. First, we got to go deeper so that we can build higher, so that we can see further. I want to make sure everybody that listens understands that the symbols in the story are basically talking about human qualities that exist in all of us. The ass is often in these tales used as a fool, a symbol of a fool. In a lot of ancient cultures, the ass was looked at as a fool, stubborn, basically used as a slave. The term that often described an ass or mule is a beast of burden. So basically, humanity has always placed burdens on an ass. It works for the benefit of others, often described as stupid, servile, clumsy, and slow in physical motion as well as in mental attributes. So when we look at the ass, we're looking at the dumb part of us, in a sense, the part of us that is stubborn, the part of us that is slow to pick up on things. And the ass in this story shows us that. As a matter of fact, when we want to really insult somebody in modern culture, we often call them an ass. Not just because we're talking about the butt, but we're talking about the actual animal. That is the root of that word ass. Nietzsche described the mule as the mob, and I want you to think about that, because in my show tomorrow, I'm going to talk about giving yourself permission to be free from the mob thinking. You know what I'm saying? Be free from the mob mind. You know what I'm saying? So Nietzsche just used the mule in a lot of his literature, especially in one of his last books, to describe the masses. It's funny how masses rhymes with ass. Mass, ass. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to think about that. And then when we look at the grasshopper is one that is that part of us that lives for the moment. Is often has good luck, hops into things quickly, a lot of times without thinking, and moves forward. A grasshopper can only hop forward, and hopping in symbolic terms means taking a big leap, a leap of faith into something. So that's what the grasshopper represents in us. All of these symbols speak to something bigger in us. All of these symbols that Aesop used are things that, when we understand exist in us, gives us the ability to get them to work for us, to move us to where we want to be. Because, for example, when we look at the symbol of the ass, although we might not like some of the qualities of the ass. The hard working aspect of the ass is useful. The stubbornness of the ass can come in handy. Also the same with the grasshopper. When we look at the grasshopper, in some instances in our life, we got to act as grasshoppers and be able to hop in on faith. We have to produce our own luck. You know what I'm saying? So when we look at these symbols, understand it is speaking of something bigger. That's why I call this folk tales for grown folks, because we really got to look at these stories and get the deeper meaning. Because when we miss these deeper meanings, it makes life harder for us. You tell these stories to young people, and old people are supposed to tell these stories to young people and get the young people to start asking the questions. And we got to ask the question of what's going on here. So in the story, we understand that the ass is looking for something. The ass want to know why the grasshoppers can sing so good, and he automatically assumes it must be from what they're eating. And the grasshoppers tells him it's the dew on the grass. The mule or the ass understands this and understands it in a way that becomes detrimental for himself. And this points out the fact to us in our lives, we have to be able to discern and find the right models or the right heroes to follow, because a grasshopper is not a good model for a mule to follow, for an ass to follow, because first off, a mule is probably 1,000 times, if not 100,000 times bigger than a grasshopper. And for a ass to try to live like a grasshopper is almost impossible. And how many times have we find ourselves trying to walk in someone's shadow that is either too big for us or too small for us? We have to be able to discern and pick the proper heroes and the proper models that we are going to follow. Following someone's lead when it's not really our walk is very dangerous for us. It could be detrimental, as we saw at the end of this tale, by the ass trying to follow along the grasshopper's advice. He eventually died. That's that stubbornness coming in there. Now, that's a double-edged sword, because that stubbornness that mule had, if he had found the right model, would have pushed him into success. But because he found the wrong model and hung on to it, he eventually wasted away and died. A lot of times we had the right idea and the wrong methods. That ass had the right idea. He wanted to get something. He wanted to find, he was looking for something, and he had the right idea. He chose the wrong model. And even more important, when we look at the ass, the flaw for the whole story was that the ass was looking for beauty and answers in the wrong place. Many of us do the same thing. We're looking for answers, and we're looking for beauty, and we're looking for wisdom, and we're looking for prosperity, and we're looking for success, but we're looking in the wrong place. We're looking externally. The ass wanted to sing as beautifully as the grasshopper, but the ass was looking in the wrong place for the beauty. He was looking in the wrong place for the answers. He was looking at the grasshoppers, and he followed the grasshoppers rather than looking inside and pulling on his own beauty. It may not be meant for an ass to have a beautiful singing voice, but an ass can be useful in other ways. And it was up to that mule to figure that out, but he didn't figure it out. He wasted away. A lot of us, we run into grasshoppers in our life, and we want to ask them the advice or their secrets thinking that they automatically are going to give us the secrets. And that's another piece with the mule and the dull-wittedness. Whenever you are seeking a secret and you get that secret in the first 5 minutes of the conversation, it wasn't really a secret in the first place. In order to get the secrets for success, for prosperity, for happiness, it requires us to pour what I call true libations. And those true libations are three major things. See, because we pour symbolic libations with water or with alcohol when we are talking about saluting our ancestors. But true libations are three major fluids. One is tears. Another one is sweat. And the last one and the most potent one is blood. And I ain't talking about somebody else's blood. I ain't talking about somebody else's tears. I ain't talking about somebody else's sweat. All these things come about from us digging deeper. And when I say digging deeper, I ain't just talking about opening the books. It requires work. It requires us to sweat. It requires us to run into something sometime that may force those tears, and sometime may cause some abrasions that will force us to bleed. Whenever we're seeking a secret and we are not pouring those real libations, those true libations, understand that what you have is not real. And in the end, you're not really going to value it because you really didn't put no work in to get it. Now, the Grasshopper was just basically giving just a little bit of information. I'm quite sure they didn't give all the information, because I want you to think about this. It's called a grasshopper, and even from Aesop, it's called a grasshopper. And everybody knows that a grasshopper eats grass. I'm quite sure they knew it back then. Hell, they knew about the cousin of the grasshopper, which looks just like a grasshopper, the locust. They know that not only do they eat grass, they'll eat everything in their damn path. You know what I'm saying? So we need to be clear that the grasshopper wasn't going to just give up their secret to their beautiful singing voice in one meeting with the ass. You know what I'm saying? And we need not to be asses and think that just by sitting down in a workshop somebody gonna give up the secrets, or just reading one article to see. No. The secret is in you pouring the true libations. So I'm going to end this session, and I want to make an announcement. All my shows are available on my website at www.giamijourney.com. Giami Journey radio show is on there. On Mile 3 is on there. Give Yourself Permission is on there. And the Magic Hour, and of course Folk Tales for Grown Folks. All of them are on the right side. They're on the tabs at the top where you click and go directly to the Spreaker station, or you could just listen to the latest episodes on the right hand side. All you gotta do is scroll down. All the shows are there. I made it convenient for you. So this is Brother Hatim. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to listen, and you have a beautiful night. I pray that your night and your rest or your morning or whatever is as beautiful as you are. Peace.